Hello comrades, welcome back to Jacob's Custom Gunworks. Today I have the Rock Island Armory M1911 A2 FS Tact on the table. This is also commonly known as the 2011, and I think it fits the bill very well because it does have a lot of upgraded features on it, some more modern features on it, and it is a double stack frame, which a lot of people refer to as a 2011. Anyway, I'm really excited to get this gun. I did get this one in 9mm. It is one of the calibers in the 1911/2011 I don't own, so I figured, what the hell. I am generally a very big proponent of 1911s being 45 auto, but I honestly like 1911 frames, so for me, if it's in a different caliber, it's not the end of the world. Anyway, we got to do a tabletop today. It has been pouring ass rain for the last 2 days here in the northern country, which is awesome. We need the moisture, but let's go over the gun. There's a few things that I'm going to do to it, and there's a few things that I've already done to it. I do fully intend to have this as a suppressor host at some point, so it's getting a threaded barrel. But let's get into the gun itself. So, one of the things that does come from the factory with is it's got a full-length rail here and dust cover, which is awesome. It does ship with the guide rod. I generally prefer 1911s with guide rods. If they don't have one, I generally install one. It just tightens everything up for me, and I generally shoot better. Kind of a preference thing. Some guys like them, some guys don't. It is a bushing barrel, so this should be fairly easy to get a threaded barrel for. Probably going to look at Jarvis. They've been doing some 1911 stuff for a while, and a lot of guys like them. And they make some stuff specifically for different models, and they'd make one for the Rock Island Armory, which is sweet. Sights. The front sight there is tall and generous, which is nice. Same with the rear sight here, so you can actually co-witness. Let's see if I can get this angled. There you go. You can co-witness your sights and your dot, which I really appreciate. The one thing or suggestion I would have is I would love to see these be night sights at some point. I hope Rock Island Armory decides to offer them with the night sights. I think that would be super awesome in the same tall configuration. The red dot is a Rock Island Armory red dot, or at least their logo stamped on there. It's pretty nice. The nice thing is on the other side here, it does have the battery compartment there, so it's not underneath the red dot, so you don't have to remove it and re-zero every time, which is pretty nice. I do appreciate that. This extended slide release here, that was installed by me. This is a Wilson Combat extended slide release for the single stack version of 1911s. It will work fine in the double stack gun. You do have to do about 5 minutes of filing and sanding to get surfaces to clear where they need to, but it's not a big deal once you're done. Throw a little bit of cold blue on there, throw it in the gun, you're good to go. Does ship from the factory with the extended safety controls, and they are on both sides, which I do like. Grip-wise, these are their G10 grips. They're kind of like a polymer / plastic grip. I don't mind these too much. They're not bad. They don't dig into you at all. May replace these. I found a couple of places that make aftermarket grips, and I may just leave them alone. I haven't really decided yet. And then lastly, I put my Streamlight TLR X7 light on here, which I do really like. I didn't feel the need to get a light laser combo like I have on some of the other ones because of the red dot that's on here. So for the footprint of the red dot, from what I understand, it is an RMSC. I was looking at different forums and some other things like that, and that's what I come up with. I didn't see it listed on the Arms Corps Rock Armory website, but if somebody has more info on it, please feel free to leave a comment. One of the things is they ship with one 17-round magazine. My only complaint about this magazine is this plastic base. We'll see how it holds up over time. But I did get a Metgar Para-Ordnance P18 magazine, and that's what is commonly recommended for these. But with this goofy magwell that's here, this is one of the things that I don't really care for personally. I wish this was flush and not this ginormous magwell. I get it. It's, kind of set up for a competition gun, so it is what it is, and it adds some weight. But one of the things you're going to have to do if you get a Metgar magazine without this base plate on it is you're going to have to bend the tab a little bit. And you can see where it's bent a little bit in there. Not a big deal. If you're going to put aftermarket base plates on this later in life, for whatever reason, that might become an issue. But for me, I don't plan to do any of that, add any extensions or base plates or anything, because quite frankly, I don't really plan on shooting this as a competition gun. It's nice that it'll have the option to, but that, again, this is personal preference. The firearm is unloaded and there's nothing in the magazines, just so I can show you some functionality here. So yeah, with this particular one here, oh, just about lost my camera. It sticks out a little bit. So when we use this one here, the modified one, make sure it clicks. See, it's nice and flush, and you can see the little bit of a bend in there. But that's how you get it to clear. I did originally take and grind a little bit on that to clear some of the surfaces right on this surface here, but there's no need to do that if you put the bend. So what you do is you put it in your vise down like so, and you get a good pinch on it and slowly pull up, and you're going to pull up, test fit, pull up, test fit till you get everything to lock like it should. It was so close. In fact, here is the 22 TCM mag. So these magazines are the same freaking magazine. They're just stamped different. One says 22 TCM, the other one says P18 38S for 38 Super. But these are the same magazine. So you guys that have the 22 TCM, this magazine, and you won't have to bend the tab like I did, will fit your old style 22 double stack TCM. And it's like, they're like 25 bucks, so instead of buying the $50 Arms Core ones. But they are the same magazine, probably made by the same company, just stamped different. But anyway, just for comparison, so here's my modified one, here's the unmodified one, and it will fit, but it stops. So when you go ahead and look over on this side here, you'll notice that your magazine catch is not locked into place, and your slide release will also not function correctly. So with this, the modified one, just for fun, we'll go ahead and put this in here. There's nothing in the magazine. We're going to go ahead and close the slide. So no problem there. Move her back and she locks in place. So same thing with our modified magazine here. Everything's closed. Make sure it locks. There we go. Same thing. She closes and then pushes our slide release up to lock the slide back, which is pretty neat. Pretty excited about this gun. Like I say, I've never owned a double stack 1911. I did find out that between this particular frame and the gutted frame I have here, this frame is actually foobarred. It's no longer any good. This is actually the frame to another gun that I rebuilt. These are almost the same in almost every way, shape, and form as far as like magazines and stuff go. And it fits. I was under the impression that the 45 and 10 millimeter frames were a little wider than the 9 millimeter frames. That doesn't seem to be the case, so I may consider getting the double stack 1911 or 2011 in the 10 millimeter auto, which I'm a big fan for, especially for bear defense. And because I'm a glutton for 45 auto, I may consider doing a double stack in that. Same thing from Rock Island. I like Rock Island guns. I think, honestly, they are definitely the budget to mid-tier friendly guns you can get. This gun itself runs around the $600 range, which is fantastic for a 2011. That is almost insane. The Staccato is going to run you like $2,500. The Springfield Prodigy is going to run you about $1,500, and then there's a TSAS one that runs you about between $800 and $900. And they have different features that you may like for instance, the Magwell isn't as pronounced in some of the other features, but I think for the money, this is definitely the way to go, especially if you want a double stack 1911. And they make these in several different calibers, both competition models and then tactical models like you see here. So you've got 9, of course, which is on the table, 40, which I believe is more of a competition style, 45 auto, of course, 10 millimeter auto, so 22 TCM. I mean, there's so many different flavors you can get in a double stack 1911 now. And I prefer a metal frame gun, personally, to a polymer frame gun. So, again, I'm really looking forward to shooting this. As soon as the rain gives up, we will go ahead and get out there and get a lot of trigger time in. So, we did talk about, I still have this here, my buddy's 22 TCM. So, I'm going to try and show some differences between the two. So here's the 22 TCM, and this is an older version. This is like one of the first versions of the 22 TCM that came out, and doesn't have the pronounced magwell, which I personally prefer. I like this better than I like this. But again, that's preference. Then there's some plastic grips here. I believe they're going to be the same style as these. They're just a little different. I think some of these have the Rock Island Armory logo in there. But anyway, between that, this does not have a guide rod in it. It does have a bushing barrel in it. And then, of course, the sights for this. This is more like a target sight, which isn't the end of the world. Again, no extended controls here. Like I say, this is an early model, or an early version of that 22 TCM, but you can see, like I say, just the differences between the two. Pretty cool. Looking forward to shooting it. Anyway, I think I've droned on long enough, so until next time, comrades.